Hello everyone and welcome back to Grateful Living Cruises. Today I want to talk to you guys about my first impressions of the Carnival Breeze. I just embarked today, so today was embarkation day on the Carnival Breeze, and I told you guys in my earlier video that I was going to do a first impressions video before I went to bed. So it has been a long day, but I wanted to come on here. I made some notes, so if you see me looking down, it's because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But I want to give you guys my first impressions. But first, I want to preface that first impressions are truly first impressions. My cruise may change, it could get better, it could get worse. These are generally just the first day I'm on the ship, my thoughts, things that you should think about if you're planning a trip on the Carnival Breeze. Generally, my first impressions, my honest first impressions. So don't come for me. I'm just telling you guys my experiences and allowing you an opportunity to think about some things if you're planning this trip as well. And of course, I'll come back later and we're gonna do a whole vlog of every day of the trip. So we definitely will talk about everything along the way. But first, if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, Grateful Living Cruises. My name is Scott. I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area and I love cruising. I'm a realtor for my real job and I do this on the side to try to bring helpful content to all you other cruisers out there. I often travel solo. I'm a big guy, so I have a different perspective. I'm over the age of 40, so that brings another perspective. I'm full of different perspectives and ideas, and I hope that you can get something valuable from my channel. If you do, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. Join the family. We're growing and we're having lots of fun together. So let's get right into my first impressions of the Carnival Breeze. First thing I want to talk about is the embarkation process. Now, everyone on my videos asks, how early can I get to the terminal to get on the ship? And the answer to that really depends on the cruise line and the ship. I have to be honest, I've heard other people and other reviews talk about this, and I was like, they're just saying that to be peaceful or whatever. No, it's really true. So on this trip, I decided I had a 12:30 p.m. check-in time, and I decided that I was going to get to the cruise terminal early to see if I in fact could get on the ship significantly earlier than my quoted or check-in time, and if they would actually let me on the ship earlier. So I arrived at the terminal at 10 a.m. So my check-in time was 12:30. I arrived at 10 a.m. and began the process. Car was parked, luggage was dropped in. I started hold on one second. I'm so sorry, guys. The mechanics were coming into the room, or the engineers, whatever they're called. I'll get into why in a minute, but I had to stop for them. So they'll probably gonna be coming back again, just FYI. Okay, where was I? Embarkation process. I arrived earlier than my check-in time just to see what would happen. I started my clock watch to see how long it would take me to actually get on the ship. Now, for reference, when I've traveled before, Royal Caribbean mainly, sometimes Carnival, but most of the Carnival ones I've arrived right at my check-in time. But for sure on Royal Caribbean, I always arrive early and I always am able to get on the ship early, which is how I do a lot of my ship deck by deck tours for Royal Caribbean. Is I try to get on the ship as early as possible. And I do my deck tours then because it's not super busy, the music's not super loud. So that's typically what I do. But anyway, I just wanted to try with Carnival and see, because I had never tried to get on a Carnival ship early. So I arrived early, about 2.5 hours early. I got through security, and then after security, I got put into a humongous cattle call waiting room. So the answer to the question is, I got through security early, but I did not necessarily get on the ship early. And to be quite honest, I would have rather just sat in my car until it was time for me to get in, because the people who were arriving on time were getting right in, and then the rest of us, we were having to wait. And you know, that's only fair. That's not a knock against Carnival at all. They're trying to hold people accountable for their check-in time, and we should be arriving at our check-in time. I just wanted to see, because people always ask me, how early can I arrive? So my suggestion would be, if you're the person that wants to get on the ship as early as possible, try to reserve the check-in time for the earliest possible available to you at the time you check in. The other thing I would say is, if you are that type of person, you want on the ship as soon as you can either do the faster to fun process, which costs a little extra money unless you're a certain status or whatever, or you just get online and do your check-in as soon as it's available and try to get the best possible time available to you. I still was on the ship plenty of time, right? I was not on the ship early enough to do a deck by deck walkthrough, because there was just too many people by the time I got on the ship. But I will tell you, it took me over an hour from the time I walked into the terminal to the time I got on the ship. So not terrible, but I definitely didn't get to go on like super early or right away. I had to wait, and you know, it is what it is. Not a bad thing at all. Just wanted to test the process, and that's what happened. So the other thing I will tell you about the embarkation process, I know there's a lot of talk about Carnival changing things. The drug dogs were out, y'all, and them dogs was barking loud. There were a couple of people in front of me that the dog detected or whatever. I don't know what the word is, but the dog was barking so loud, y'all. Like, my dogs at home don't bark near that loud. It's so crazy to me how, like, they weren't even like close to the luggage. Like, the dogs just, I don't know, they just knew somehow, I guess. I shouldn't say they knew. I shouldn't say that the people were guilty, but it was pretty obvious that the dog was like, mm-mm. And they were pulling people to the side and sending them off to a place to have their stuff searched. So the drug dogs are out, y'all. Carnival is not playing with y'all no more. No more of this ratchetness. Oh, that's terrible to say, but they were not playing. And I don't know if it's always like that. I've never seen it like that with Carnival before, but I don't know if it's because of the big thing they had in Galveston, because I came out of Galveston, but they were definitely out. And then also the other thing I noticed, which I don't have happen to me often, even my last Carnival cruise was not this way, because I took a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper Zero with me. They searched my Dr. Pepper case. They tore it apart and then taped it back up to make sure that I had not hidden anything in my case of Dr. Pepper. So anyway, take that for what you will, guys, but I would say that Carnival is definitely not playing anymore with that. Now let's talk about entering the ship from the gangway. So the first impressions you have getting onto the Carnival Breeze, coming off the gangway, you walk into the ship's atrium area, which is, you know, the high ceilings. It's where they have a bar. They have a lot of entertainment in the atrium. They had tons of crew, like, getting the fun vibe going as soon as you walked in. I didn't realize it at the time because I don't drink alcohol, but they were selling rum punch cups, and someone told me later they were $20 a glass. Now, they were selling these things everywhere, over and over, and you get my point. I don't know how many times I said, I don't drink, no thank you. They're just doing their job, but I was like, good Lord, they are pushing these drinks big time on the fun ship. Anyway, the atrium had that old school charm. it did, in my opinion, kind of lack that grand open air, windows everywhere vibe that I had just gotten from the Jewel of the Seas with Royal Caribbean on my recent cruise with them. But it still had that old school vibe. It was a really nice decor. I'll show you guys some clips of it, and then you'll see it on my full ship tour as well. But I would say I liked a little bit of that wow factor that you normally get on some ships. Now, luckily for me, my muster station was literally right by the dining room when you walked into the atrium. So I was able to get that out of the way super fast. It was a quick scan and go process. So I literally got on the ship, looked at the atrium, seen my muster station was over there, ran over there, got that done, in and out, super easy. And that was awesome. I love that I didn't have to go find it. I really didn't even have to ask anyone because there was a big sign like right here. So after I checked in at my muster station, I decided we needed to waste some time. So let's go grab some lunch. And of course, I made a rookie mistake and I did not make reservations for the dining, like a specialty dining or somewhere where you could sit down away from the crowds to have lunch. So I decided to go to the Lido buffet, and it was very crowded. Again, I didn't get on the ship as early as I typically would, so it was very crowded. Like every seat was taken, the lines were long. However, I will say the Carnival crew, they were keeping the lines moving. So it didn't take me long to find a seat, and it didn't take me long to get through the lines. I just basically grabbed some chicken strips and some pasta. I kept it very simple, but I was able to find a seat. I was able to relax because I was carrying that backpack full of the 12-pack of Dr. Pepper Zero, and I had my camera gear on a, what you call that thing? The slide or sling is what they call it. Words are difficult, guys. Anyway, the sling. So I was like, I needed to sit down and rest. So I was able to do that, enjoy my lunch, get rehydrated, not on Dr. Pepper, I drank water, and just waste a little bit of time. But then I started feeling kind of bad because so many people were trying to find a seat. The other thing I will say, you guys, I've gotten so used to hygiene being a focus on cruise ships, and especially with Royal Caribbean and the washi stations, or even some of the older ships, they may not have a lot of the washing stations, but they have the hand sanitizer at the front door. I didn't see any of that on the Carnival Breeze. Now, I may have missed it because it was so busy, and maybe tomorrow I will find it there, but no washi, no Germex in your face. Like, you guys do know this was like one of the worst rated ships according to the CDC the last couple of years. Like, it passed, but barely. We'll talk more about that later, but I was a little disappointed. I'm like, oh, come on. I've gotten so used to washi and hand sanitization and all these things. Anyway, so at this point, my anxiety was like on high, right? I don't do well with crowded spaces. I don't do well with like just trying to figure all that stuff out. So my anxiety was on a high. I decided I needed to leave, let someone else have my seat, and then go find somewhere to hang out until the rooms were ready. I was told that on this ship, the rooms definitely would not be ready before the 1:30 time that they stated. So I thought, okay, let me go find somewhere to sit. And I found a perfect place to go sit that was not crowded, surprisingly, and was very comfortable. So you guys, if you are boarding the Carnival Breeze and you need a place to go relax and waste some time until your rooms are ready, you must go check out the Ovation Theater. It's on the forward portion of the ship, decks 3 and 4, I believe. It's only been one day, so don't judge me. 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. Anyway, the front portion of the ship, and there was nobody in there. The huge theater, and they had the big couch style seats, so not the little individual seats. They had the big couch style seats. There were no people in there hardly at all. Like, I was able to spread my stuff out and really relax and just kind of prepare and calm down. I was so happy. I can't even tell y'all how happy I was I found it. And the air conditioning was fantastic in the Ovation Theater. So that was the perfect spot. I literally sat in there. I went down one time to see if the rooms were ready, and they weren't. So I decided, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to wait until 1:30. So I stayed there until 1:30, went downstairs, the rooms still weren't ready, but like at 1:32, they finally opened the doors. So they were pretty spot on the timing there. So definitely Hidden Gem, Ovation Theater on Embarkation Day. Go sit there, especially if you're like me and you're not dealing good with crowds. Like, that is definitely the place to go. So our rooms are ready. It was a little after 1:30. We came to our room, and I wished I could say it was sunshine and roses, but you guys, this is where things got a little rough for your boy. First of all, we're all standing in the hallway because even though they opened the doors saying that our rooms were ready, our key cards were not in our door or in the little pocket thing by the door. So we're all just standing there like, we can't get in our rooms. So we waited until they got those delivered, which again, I'm not going to really complain about because these guys are working so hard trying to turn the ship over. I mean, the ship comes in, the people get off, they have to clean, and then we're trying to get on as soon as possible, right? So we have to give them a little bit of grace, but our key cards were not there. So as soon as they did arrive, I opened my door. I'm on the first floor, an interior cabin, because it was free. I'll talk about the casino offerings later, but I'm traveling on a free fare from the casino. So I'm in an interior room on the first floor. So I know I can't complain, but I mean, I did play in the casino to get these offers. So I opened the door. By the way, I have never stayed in an interior cabin before. And I know that's very, first world problem of me. But I had never stayed in an interior cabin before. So I didn't know what to expect other than things that I had seen on reviews from other travelers. But you know, it's always different in person than on camera. When I walked in, I was like, this is the smallest room. This is like solitary confinement cell. And I say that because we've been watching Prison Break? No, Escapes. The show with Morgan Freeman where he talks about all the people who've tried to escape prison. I don't know why we've been watching that, but we've been watching that. Oh, because we went to San Francisco and we did the Alcatraz thing, and then we got on this, anyway, tangent. It felt like a solitary confinement when I opened this door. It was small. Normally, you know, if you have a balcony room or even an ocean view room in a lot of cases, you have a couch. Like, you walk in, you have your bathroom, your closet, you have a couch space, and then you have your bedding and stuff. This room doesn't even have a couch. It doesn't even have a chair to sit on here at the desk that I'm at. I'm sitting on a little stool thingy. So I was a little shocked at first. I was like, okay, I knew it was going to be interior, but it's small. Like, there's no couch, there's nowhere to sit other than this little stool and the bed, like literally. And you'll see that in my full room tour. But I thought that was interesting. I do have plenty of closet space, and there is a little TV section, and the desk space is decent for one person. But if there were two of us in here, this definitely would not be working for my partner and I, because we both bring our work stuff, and like it just wouldn't work. There's no way, like, unless we laid on the bed and worked. But anyway, so that was my first impression walking into the stateroom, and then I noticed it was hot. Like, I thought, okay, I was going to be in an interior room, Everyone says the interior rooms are great because it's really dark, you can sleep well, and because there are no windows and heat, the rooms are nice and cool. My room was not nice and cool, and still is not nice and cool, which is why I had to stop the video earlier, because the technicians were coming in to check the temperature, and it was 76 degrees in my room, which as a big guy, that ain't cutting it for me. I have fans. Anyway, they're going to try to fix it, so I'm not going to complain too much until they tell me whether or not it can be fixed. But I noticed it was warm, and then I went into the restroom and noticed it had a shower curtain. You guys know I hate shower curtains, but I already knew it was going to have a shower curtain. But my shower curtain is like half hanging on because the little clips that they hang them on are missing, and so it's just hanging. And then I turn around and I look at the little glass shelves on either side of the mirror in the bathroom. Y'all, I'm not going to show you pictures, but I do have evidence on my phone. There were pieces of hair, curly hair, on the mirrors of the little glass thing. There was some kind of substance and grime on there. It had not been cleaned. And if it had been cleaned, it was just wiped down with an old dirty rag, you know what I mean? And how it leaves the stuff. It was bad, y'all. I was like, I wanted so hard to come on this cruise ship and to do a video that says, everyone says it's the CDC worst rated cruise ship and they were wrong. But I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, I wanted so hard to be able to come on this video and be like, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. They're crazy. They're just complaining. Guys, I have the proof. And I was like, yeah, this is not good. I mean, for perspective, this ship I think is 12 or 13 years old. It went into effect on 2012, I think. Anyway, something like that. The Jewel of the Seas from Royal Caribbean that I recently got off was 21 years old. And granted, it had a refresh, but the rooms and stuff had not been refreshed. And I mean, like 5 million times cleaner. Like there's stuff on the walls, like just scuff marks and dirt, and I'm so sorry, y'all. Like, I really am trying not to bash on Carnival, but I have to give you guys my honest, like, what I'm sitting here looking at. Like, I'm looking here and there's stuff like on the wall here behind the desk. Like, it just was not good. I did call it to my stateroom attendant's attention, and he promptly came in and wiped down the bathroom for me again. But unfortunately, he told me there may not be anything they can do about the shower curtain, because they're out of the little hooks, or they're running low on the little hooks, and so they're trying to spare them. Come on, Carnival, y'all can do better. Like, if you're gonna have these shower curtains, at least have the dadgum little hooks that have to hang them up. Like, I don't know, I was really disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I texted my partner and was like, I really wanted to believe that the reviews I had watched were not necessarily true, but you know, it is what it is. But I'm not going to hold judgment until I find out if they ever do correct the things that I found. So far, my stateroom attendant has been very proactive in trying to correct these little things, and I haven't been a Karen about it. I've been very nice, and I don't know. So anyway, long story short, the last thing about the room, I took a shower before dinner, and I have pictures and videos of this as well. My shower drain was like not draining, and so the little lip was full. And you know, when you're just standing in water that you've just washed your body after being traveling all day long, like, ooh, it was just gross. And again, guys, I'm so sorry. I try not to be negative Nancy, but these are real things that are happening, and I have to share them. I mean, this is my job on here, is to share what I experienced. So I got out of the shower. It took about 10 minutes for the shower thing to finally drain, but I probably would have taken a longer, more enjoyable shower if I wasn't worried about that thing overflowing into the bathroom, which I probably shouldn't have even mind because there's a drain in the bathroom. But anyway, long story short, those are the issues with my room. took a break from the room fiasco, and now we're ready for the sailaway party on the Carnival Breeze. And what can you say about a sailaway party on Carnival other than Carnival knows how to do a sailaway party? They do it best, hands down. No one can compete with Carnival sailaway party. Their fun squad is amazing. The people are dancing. The music is jumping. It was a fantastic sailaway party. I just wish that we could actually show you guys the video without being copywritten with the music, because it's so fun. And you can put different music to the sailaway party clips, but it's not the same as what they do in person. So you'll just have to go on a Carnival cruise to experience it for yourself if you've never done that. But if you are a party person, then you cannot ever beat a Carnival sailaway. I don't care what they say. There's tons of activity. It's lively. They have participation from young, old, no matter what you are or what your walk of life is. They include everyone. And yesterday, they actually had Dr. Seuss characters for the kids to take photos, and adults. I saw the adults down there too. They had the Cat in the Hat and then Things 1 and 2, and in full costume, which was really fun to see as well. So not much to say about the sailaway party other than you already know it's going to be amazing. And I will have some clips of that in my day one embarkation video. So if you haven't seen that, it should already be up, and I will link it here so you can go take a look at that. Okay. So after dinner, or after the sailaway party, it was time to go to dinner. I chose to have dinner in the Sapphire Dining Room, which is the dining room for the people who want to just check in when they're ready to go eat and not have a specific time that they are required to go eat. So I chose to do that. And I will say the maitre d' was amazing, because every time I go on the first night to the main dining on a ship, I always ask for them to set me at a table that's kind of away from everyone, because I'm going to be videoing and vlogging and sharing, my thoughts on the food. And I don't want to interrupt other people's experience with my commotions, right? So she was amazing. She's like, absolutely, I have a great spot. And it was like 10 minutes wait, which was amazing to me, considering I literally went on the app and said, I'm ready to eat. And they were like, okay, your wait time's 10 minutes or less. So they were fantastic. They got me in there. They got me a great place to sit. I was still in the middle of the action, but I was sit in a position where my video would not interrupt anyone. So that was really awesome. So that was, thank you. I forgot what her name was, but she was the maitre d' there at the Sapphire restaurant. And that was fantastic. The service when I first sat down took a little bit, but it wasn't really the waiter's fault. There was a table 2 tables down from me, and they just up and left in the middle of his service. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they were upset. I don't know. But he came back, they were gone, and he was just like, it kind of got him off his game, I think. And so he was trying to get back together. But once he got his stuff together and kind of got back on track and stopped worrying about them, things went really well. I have a whole video in my embarkation day vlog about each step of the dinner that I had. And I was so full when I left there, you guys. I seriously debated not going to the show because I was so full. I was like, I just need to go to bed. But I didn't. I pushed through, and we went to the evening show in the Ovation Theater. So this is basically the show where the cruise director gives kind of an overview of what's going to happen. He talks about the crew, and then the playlist cast, so like the performers, they did a brief set of samples of things that we will hear, the songs and such, throughout the ship. So it was kind of like a sampling, and our cruise director was Cruise Director Louie, who I actually had on the Carnival Jubilee recently. And he's amazing, very well spoken. He does use the same lines over and over. I think he just has them rehearsed, but that's okay. He does a great job. He's entertaining, he's funny. And so he basically led an overview of everything that we can expect, and it was quite nice. I enjoyed the show. I'm glad I stayed up for it. It wasn't like a show or like a whole production. It was just a sampling, but I did get a couple little clips that I will have in my... These are my first impressions. So if I sound like I'm being a little negative, I apologize, but these literally are things that happened to me on my first day here on the ship. And of course, I will follow up as the trip goes on to see how things improve. And if they don't improve, I will let you guys know as well. I will always provide my honest feedback, good, bad, or ugly. And I will say, again, my stateroom attendant did come in and clean the bathroom back up. Whether or not they'll be able to fix the slow drain and the shower curtain and the air conditioning, I don't know yet, but I definitely will follow up with you guys and let you know how that went. So these are my first impressions of Embarkation Day, my first day on the Carnival Breeze. If you got any helpful information out of this, please like and subscribe to join the channel. We would love to have you guys. We have so many other videos coming in this series, so stay tuned. Let's keep watching together, having fun together, and please let me know in the comments below, have you been on this ship and what were your experiences? I will say, like, other people that I've talked to, they say their rooms are freezing and they were clean. Maybe I'm in a one-off situation. I don't know. Maybe I'm too picky, but I have evidence. So anyway, these are my first impressions of the Carnival Breeze, guys. I will see you in another video in this series very, very soon. Remember, live life gratefully every single day. I'll talk to you soon.